So children, if you have a question, you can take this opportunity to sit on the chair, the magic chair. And you can look and see the whole community. And before we ask the question, we will listen to one sound of the bell. So you have the opportunity to come back to your in-breath and out-breath, gather yourself, and then be ready to ask your question, okay? Dear Sangha, this is the first question.
Wann kann ich Nonne oder Mönch werden?
When can I become a monk or a nun?
Very good question, huh? I think all of the monastic are very happy to hear this. When you're very young and you want to become a monastic, you have to wait a little bit until you fully understand the path that you want to take. And also, you need the permission of your father and mother. Because when you become a monk, it's like you will marry this community. And this community becomes your family, becomes your spiritual family. And this community will take care of everything for you. From the food, your living quarter, your education, training you. And then you also become a member of the community. And everything you do, you're offering back to the Sangha. How old are you? 7. So for the youngest monastic that we have had ordained in Plum Village was a nun when she was 12 years old. And she is still a nun today. And I myself became an aspirant when I was 13. And I became a monk when I was 14. And only when in your heart you know it is right to become a monk is when you feel like this is the only thing you can do. And if you don't do it, you cannot sleep and you cannot eat. It's like when you're in love. So you have to fall in love with this community, fall in love with this path, this aspiration. Okay? There's still plenty of time. And Plum Village is not going anywhere. We will wait for you, okay? Thank you. Bây giờ con lắng nghe tiếng chuông nha. Và khi lắng nghe thì con thở vào, thở ra.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Tinvi. J'ai une question à vous poser. Pourquoi toujours moi j'ai toujours les trucs cool et mes copines elles sont toujours les trucs nuls.
Tu peux répéter? Pourquoi j'ai toujours des trucs cool et mes amis ont toujours des trucs nuls?
Sister Nghiêm, can you translate for us?
So, dear Sangha, our friend's question is, how come I always get cool stuff and my friends always get stuff that is not nice? So how come I get the cool things and my friends get the things that are really not nice? Quand tu dis des trucs, tu veux dire des objets ou tu veux dire ce qui se passe dans ta vie? So, your question makes me remember a story. Is your translation working? Your question makes me remember a story. It's the story of a man and his son, and they live in the countryside. And then one day, somehow there's a wild horse that arrives at their house. And the neighbors start saying, "Oh, wow, you're so lucky, this wild horse decided to come and live with you." And so the man says, "Oh, really?" And then the next day, the son of the man thinks that he wants to tame the horse and try to ride the horse. So he climbs on the horse's back. But of course it's a wild horse, so after a few minutes, then the horse puts the son down, let the son fall. And the son of this man breaks his leg. And the neighbors start saying, "Oh, too bad for you. Your son broke his leg. That's really painful. Now he can't even help you anymore." And this man says, "Oh, really?" And then after a few days or a few weeks, in this country there is a war. So it means that all the valid young men, they have to help the army and go to fight. But it so happens that the man's son's leg is broken, so obviously this young man cannot go to fight. And the neighbors, they say, "Man, you're so lucky. Your son is not going to war." And this man answers, "Oh, really?" So the meaning of the story, I think you understand, is that sometimes we think that from what we are getting, we are lucky or we are unlucky. But that's just the surface of things. In fact, a condition that is lucky for us might be unlucky for somebody else or might be unlucky for ourselves the next day. and a condition that feels that it's not cool, it's not nice, actually it might turn up that it's good that it's this way. And so we need to train our way of looking to see that whatever we get, we can recognize it as a good condition, but we can also look and think and feel that this is not cool for me, this is not cool for my friends. And when you're getting something that is cool for you, and your friends are not getting the same, we can also learn to share. So if you have beautiful gifts and you receive candies or things like that, then you can learn to share with your friends, and that way everybody gets the cool stuff, right? And then if your friends, if something not nice happens to them, then you learn also to come and be there for them and try to understand what is going on so that you can give them a helping hand when they need, or just try to be there to listen if you can. Okay? Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you, sister. Just now the sister shared that story. It's come from a poem in Chinese. We call it 塞翁失马，焉知非福. It's come from that story. Yeah.
This is the third question. He's also wearing brown like us.
Du kannst mal einmal auf Deutsch fragen und dann frage ich für dich. Was willst du fragen? Sag einmal auf Deutsch. Du kannst sagen. Sag mir mal deine Frage. Sag mir mal deine Frage. Sag mir mal deine Frage. Sag mal zu mir. Sag mal zu mir.
Willst du nicht so machen?
Okay. Soll ich deine Frage stellen? Okay, so he asked yesterday already in our sharing circle, and he asked today again. Yesterday he asked what happens when we all die. Today he asked what happens when I die.
Very deep, very difficult. Hi, Kelly.
When you stand, listen. We have to invite the sound of the bell for him to settle and listen to the answer of sister, okay? When you look at the ocean, there is many waves. And each wave have the birth, the growing up, and the dying. But you think that the wave is die. But all the water of the wave enter into 1 or 2 or 3 waves nearby. And the wave manifests again, this time in a small wave, a big wave, a tiny wave, maybe 3, 4 waves have been born from the death of the big wave. And the little wave is the continuation, the new manifestation of the dying wave. And there is a huge linden tree in our garden. There was a big storm and the linden tree died. And we think that the linden tree died, but the day after we see many little trees, tiny, but grow, and now we have many small and bigger linden tree. So that is the continuing manifestation of the dying, so-called died tree. And there were and you can ask the linden tree, the big linden tree who died, Lindo, where are you? And all the little linden trees said, we are here. We are the continuation of the big linden tree. And there were a little boy, 8-year-old, who came to Plum village. Long time ago, it's been 20 years ago. And he died suddenly of a sudden disease. And in 3 weeks he died. And we are mourning, we sad, we loved him a lot. But then the strange thing, that all the quality of that boy manifests in his young brother, cousin, because that boy always, when he wake up, he said that, oh, thank you, Mom. You are so wonderful. And he called the grandpa or grandma, Grandma, we miss you. Tomorrow is Saturday. We will go and see you. And then when the boy, but during his being alive, no other boy have said so. But when he passed away, suddenly his young brother, oh, Mom, you are so wonderful. And he also called Grandma and said, Grandma, we miss you. Tomorrow is weekend. I will ask my parents to bring us to see you. And many quality of him, he saved money for hungry children. And in the past, his young brother never do it. But when he passed away, just a few weeks later, his young brother saved money for hungry children. And so it looked like he manifests in many children. That is the way we see that if somebody passes away, he manifests in many other forms.
Yeah, before waiting, I like to look at her. You can ask one question. Yeah? You can ask one question. If I'm alive, what will happen? Yeah? Ask this question. Yeah? If I'm alive, what will happen? Wow. Yeah? So sometimes we can ask ourselves, I'm alive, what will happen? Well, okay.
Danke.
Und dann geben wir das Mikro zurück.
I think we have time for one more question from the children.
Pourquoi les hommes ils font la guerre?
Why men do war? Why men do the war? The war. They fight.
The question is, why do men do war?
Yeah. Why men do war? I don't think only just men. We are equal. Okay. But yeah. 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 Only maybe 3 words can answer your question. First is ignorance. The second is greed. And the third one is anger. Then the war will happen. We have actually we have 2 kinds of war. One kind of war is within us. Yeah, that is inner war. Yeah, and one kind of war is outside there. Yeah. If we want to solve whatever kind of war, we have to use what we call understanding and love. Yeah. So, do you have any war within you? He's smiling. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think everyone have our own war. Yeah. Yeah. But the most important thing is we try to make peace within ourselves first. Yeah. If we have our inner peace, then slowly, maybe we have a chance to influence the others to become peace. Yeah, and the war will slowly. It's impossible that in this world that without any war. So that's why we have a lot of suffering around us. Yeah, I think last week Yeah, there is a lady who asked the war about the war in I think in Liberia, and he said that everywhere have war. Do you have war? So she's so free, yeah. Yeah. So if we look in a different ways, yeah. So if you really want to overcome the war within and outside, I think Thai always said using understanding and love, then you can solve the war. Yeah. So just now I have been sharing the war actually is come from three elements. One is ignorance. The second is greed, because we want something when we cannot get it. Then we get anger. Then the war will happen. Yeah. If you want to solve the war, you have to rise understanding and love. Yeah? Understand? Can you understand? Yeah. So I hope you don't have war with your parents, yeah? No, yeah. But yeah, you can use love, yeah, for yourself, yeah, for yourself, and also for your parents, yeah, and bring some peace and joy within you. Then you can solve the war. Okay? Okay, good luck.
Thank you. I think if we have a few more minutes for 2 more questions from the children. When I said it was the last one, they got a little upset. So I think we want to support them. Yeah.
Pourquoi on est né pour mourir?
Why are we born to finally die?
So I'd like to answer this question going around it. I love to go in nature. This is the place where I could spend my whole life. And when I'm in nature, I look at it. I look and I rest in nature. And for example, in nature, there are a lot of plants, right? There are many trees and grasses and flowers. And all of them, they make some seeds. Have you seen that in nature? When I look at the seeds, I see that they also rest in the earth. And the earth, I notice when I'm looking through the seasons, that it's made of the decomposing of all parts of nature. So the trees themselves, they let their leaves go in the fall and in the winter. Have you noticed that? The leaves from the trees fell and then they are on the floor, and then somehow with time and with the humidity, they become sort of rotten, or they just decompose like that with time. It's just what's supposed to happen in nature. And this is the substance that forms the earth, the soil. It comes from the dead leaves, you know that? And the dead leaves, they also make something alive. So they're not exactly dead. In fact, they're just being something else. And then the seeds that are in this substance, they draw a lot of life from that. They draw the nutrients for their growth, to make new plants. So it's hard to say that there's really one event that is just birth and one event that is just death. And it's also very hard to say that we are different from those plants and those trees, because we also have come from a kind of seed. We also have come from soil. We have to draw our life from everything around us, especially right now. There's the air that is surrounding us. We have to draw our life from it. If there was no more air, then we would stop living right away. And our environment also draws life from us. So maybe sometimes I think that the earth is giving me everything for my life. But other times I remember that I also need to give something of myself to life and to the earth and to nature. For example, I give, you will think this is funny, but when I clip my nails, I give it to the earth. This is a very small part of me that I know I can give. Instead of putting it in the rubbish bag, I go and I put it in the garden. And I do it with the awareness, on purpose. I give my body for the earth. So we don't really have to die in the end. And in fact, there's no real end. Everything always continues, like Sister Changkong said before. There's no ending. Thank you for asking.
This is the last question from the children.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Agnès, j'ai une question à vous poser. Pourquoi ma meilleure copine est méchante avec moi?
So our friend's question is, how come my best friend is mean to me?
This is a very, very good question. And I think all of us have experienced this. But when we practice mindfulness, we know that if they are mean to us, but we have the capacity to be loving and understanding. And that is the true power of a real friend. in any situation, we always have a choice. We have a choice to retaliate. We have a choice to be mean back to our friends. Or we have a choice to smile to the situation and learn to grow the seed of love and understanding. You know, a branch or a chopstick, it can only break if two hands snap it. But if only one hand hold it and another hand doesn't feel the same and doesn't hold to break it, then the chopstick will never break. So in a situation like that, when you have mindfulness, you have insight, then at that moment you will know how to act. And you will act out of love and out of understanding. And that will improve your own quality of being, your own quality of love. And sometimes we have to meditate a little bit. We have to look deeper into our friend. Why is our friend acting like that? Maybe he doesn't have the same condition as we do. He doesn't have the chance to learn about love and understanding. And therefore he acts and behaves in that way. And when you have that insight, you have that view, then suddenly your heart will open and you will not hate your friends, but you will actually love your friend even more. And that is true friendship. That is how we support each other. And that is how we can grow together as human beings. If we have love, we have understanding, the other person will feel that love and understanding from us. And when that moment comes, enough conditions for that friend, maybe he or she will be introduced to the practice, or he or she will ask you, wow, why are you always so fresh and so happy? And in those moments, we can share a little bit to that person because his heart or her heart is opening up slowly. So sometimes as a friend, we have to be also very patient and wait into the right condition in order to support our friend. Okay? So we have the choice. That is the power of mindfulness. We are in control of our action. We are in control of the way we look and the way we act. Okay? Good luck. So thank you, dear children. When you hear the sound of the small bell, you all can stand up and then turn toward the Sangha and bow, and then we can leave. Oh, our brother wants to add one more element to this.
Not yeah. So for the question of living and dying, if every one of you, if you look at a tree, a tree, when it's from small, it grows, then it becomes big. But until a certain of time, the tree, what we so call the tree, will die. But do you ever ask that tree before, for his whole life, or that tree itself, what have he done? Yeah? What the tree have done? If you look deeply, the tree is just giving, isn't it? Yeah, he give greens, he give what we call oxygen. He's just giving. So if we see our life itself, we can practice like the tree, it will be very beautiful. Do you see a tree fight before? No, yeah? Yeah. So sometimes we can learn from the tree. Yeah? I think if you know the life itself, it can be very, very beautiful. Yeah. If you ask the tree never said, you have to give me back something. Yeah? Only compost. Just compost. But he just always giving, isn't it? When you saw a tree, is it beautiful? Do you see some tree around here? Is it beautiful? No? Yeah? Yeah? There are many kind of tree. But you really see the tree itself is very beautiful. Can you become like a tree in your life that always giving, always care for others? Yeah. So we can learn from the tree. The tree also will grow from small until a period of time, they will pass away. But this period of time, if you learn from the tree, you always give. He always be there for us. Yeah. So I hope for the children, you try to see in this way. So you can be very beautiful as you are growing up, day by day. And try to learn from the tree, fresh as a tree. Yeah? Yeah. Sometimes life itself can be very, very hard. Like when the tree is growing, sometimes there is a storm. It will break some branches, but it's still growing and still giving. Yeah. So I think the tree is a very good example for us to contemplate on. Yeah. So I think before we end, let we all sing the 2 promises. Is it a good idea? I don't know why.
So now the children, we can stand up.